And last but not least, let's finally talk about Top Gun Maverick, right?
Sure.
Which, by the way, I had to remind myself, oh yes, when the first trailer dropped, I actually covered it on this podcast here. Yeah, because I was actually impressed by what it is I saw, specifically the IMAX with the visuals that we got here,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But in preparation for this, and we have to talk about this before we jump into Maverick, right? I checked out the original one, man, and I won't lie
Right.
to you. It's not a show that I've seen hundreds of times. I know a lot of people,
I
especially
only I
80s
only watch it like
babies.
yeah, I only watch it like twice.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, it seemed with me. Like I saw it once on cable. I think it was on TCM or something like that. And
It,
then literally a few days before watching Maverick, I watched it again.
yeah, no, for me, Top Gun is just the actually think the thing I remember the most about Top Gun is freaking the video game for the SNES having the shitty landing sequence. That's
I,
about it.
I, I need to look for gameplay footage
No,
of it.
yeah, no,
I've never
dude,
seen the game.
that fucking game's so frustrating to play, because they're always crashing. So yeah,
Are you
that's about it.
serious?
No, yeah, it's real trash, terrible game. Hey, whatever.
Wow. Okay. So just to talk briefly about the original Top Gun, right? Here's the thing, right? Now, when we talk about ET's films, right? Classic ET's films, yes, Top Gun is one, right?
It's
But
it's the, it's not a great 80s film, but it's the
that's
most
the thing.
80s. It's the most 80s of the 80s films. Like it's very Reagan era
Hmm.
individualism. Like it tries to,
You
like we
know,
will get into that with this movie about what the arc of Maverick was in that movie, especially in his relationship with Goose
hmm
and what I was about. And it's like, they could have right. It's a very Reagan era thing, right?
it
But
is. It is.
why it shines is because, and they give him props at the end, and yeah, because of Tony Scott.
That's right.
I
Yeah.
so
Tony
this is
Scott,
a
like
this
I won't lie, rest in peace to Tony Scott.
yeah
He did a damn great job directing that
yeah
movie, boy.
yeah.
Like my
Here's the
God.
thing, I'm gonna say a super fucking hot take, but I actually think Tony Scott is more talented than Ridley Scott. As a filmmaker, like Ridley have the more heady stories, but
Yeah.
as a filmmaker, just at editing and just putting stuff together, I kind of rate Tony a little higher.
I would agree with you with that. Tony has a more dynamic approach to his films. Joe. I mean, look at say Enemy of the State, for example, with Will Smith. Like look at that. Look at how
To
dynamic
be
that shit
honest,
was,
like
right? Look at Man on
right,
Fire. You know what I mean? Yeah.
that is what this last Boy Scout, Judd. Like
Yeah, Last Boy Scout. I forgot
yeah,
that. Love that movie by the way.
he movies, Judd. Yeah, he movies, like, but he never do the heady stuff now. It's the crowd pleasers now.
Mm.
Whilst Ridley is the more out aliens and right, okay.
And Blade Runner and
And Blade
stuff
Runner,
like
right?
that.
I give Ridley, like, look, of course I give Ridley props, but I don't know. I always found Tony a little more talented, but yeah. Anyway, but we like getting back to Top Gun.
Yeah. So as far as Top Gun the movie goes, right? In my defense, I am like, all right, yes, I was born in the 80s and whatnot, right? But I wasn't like, like in my teens or in my tweens or whatnot when this movie came out. So of course this movie didn't resonate with me as much as all that, right?
Right,
It's true pop culture, is the whole I feel the need for speed, you know what I
right,
mean? Seeing a young Tom Cruise and seeing a young Val Kilmer, seeing a young Tim Robbins, like holy fuck, you
yeah,
in this, you know what I mean?
right, yeah,
Seeing
yeah,
Meg Ryan in this, it's like, what?
right,
You in this?
right,
Like that, right? The song from Berlin, Take My Breath Away, which I,
yeah,
I heard days
and then
on, you know what I mean, when I was
and then
young, you know what I mean?
and of course, Danger Zone.
Of course, Kenny Loggins,
Yeah,
masterpiece of
yeah,
ET's rock, right?
yeah,
But honestly, it's not a show that sticks with me,
yeah,
and for me, well, just to talk briefly, right? I think my one thing, like, seeing it for the first time, right? And just kind of learning about films, learning about 80s, right? Like when you see the term action, right? So, you go into a movie like this, you think, okay, this can be like real top-notch action now. But it's more like just a category that they just had to put this movie in, because they couldn't really think of one. Because when they really look at
right,
it, it's more of a military drama, but it
right.
has elements of romance and elements of action. But
Yeah,
it's not a pure action film now.
the big action sequence at the end is like an afterthought almost.
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's decent voices. I mean, well shot. I mean, the aerial shots weren't that cool and all that, but nothing like,
yeah,
oh my God, best action movie I've ever seen in my life, right?
yeah. It was just edited. Yeah,
Yeah,
just like
but
more editing at work at the time, and it's like, okay, at the time that was kind of a thing, but not compared to this film.
Yeah, oh
Maverick.
yeah, compared to this one, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, in retrospect, you can look at it now and be like, yes, I understand why it's regarded as one of the classic. I don't want to say great, but one of the classic 80s films, right? The look of it, the mannerisms, the themes, the machismo. Even though when you look at it now, it kind of does border on homoerotic, which kind of makes the
Right.
film really funny to
Oh yeah,
watch.
I was always thinking. I was always thinking. Okay, what's the name of that movie with Quentin Tarantino in it? And he was explaining.
Oh
Uh,
gosh, I forgot the name of the show.
yeah, yeah,
But good thing you bring up that too. Good thing you
yeah.
bring
When
up
he told
that
them
too. Eh?
explaining how gay Top Gun is.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. But here's the thing, now I know a lot of people will kind of like taking everything that Quentin see, and I actually rewatched that clip right where he's seen it. If you
Right,
really watch it closely, it's an exaggeration of how people perceive that film.
right. Exactly,
It's not like
exactly.
okay,
But
this
the
is the
movie,
way. This is
right?
what Top Gun is. No, it's really exaggerated. Like look at
Exactly,
how exaggerated Quentin is. You know what I mean? Like I know he's a film
exactly.
nerd and all that, but look at his performance in it too, Dread. It's just like yo, you know what I mean? How animated he is now.
Right.
So yes, I know it's kind of funny to look at the movie itself and be like, ha ha, that's kind of homoerotic. Oh, look, they're playing volleyball and they're shooting this, ha ha ha, ha. Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll be your wingman.
I'll be your wingman. No, I'll be
Right,
yours.
right.
Like, okay, all that
Yeah,
stuff, right? All right, but
right.
that Tarantino performance exaggerated. It's
Yeah, exactly.
exaggerated version of how people perceive the film. That's
Right,
it, right?
right. Yeah,
But
it is a slight misremembering, to be fair.
exactly, yeah, yeah.
Right.
But I mean, there's a lot to like in the film, right? But again,
Yeah.
because I didn't grow up in the 80s, that show just doesn't resonate with me. But the thing is, there's a lot of 80s films that I love and I appreciate, right? Even though they are products of their time, right? But this one is one where I don't love it, but yeah, I mean I understand why it's a product of its time though.
Right.
Although to be honest though, I do see its flaws, like the pacing is off. Like, it's like, all right, we have to give you the machismo, you have to give us the high flying stuff. But we have to stop and give it this romance, which
Right.
kind of doesn't really work, you know what I mean? But I
Yeah.
get why it's there because you have to sell the song. And speaking of selling the song, they use the instrumental to take my breath away a lot. And then they actually play the song, take a while, guess where it plays during the love scene, duh, you know
Right.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's almost like, okay, they just want to please everybody. You want to please the America people, you want to please the the women who come in solely to see Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer. You want to sell that. You're selling it to the boys who just kind of want to see Kelly McGillis. We look hot and
Right.
whatnot.
Right.
It's like you're trying to please everybody though, but it almost feels like you're trying to do too much
Yeah.
of that to the point that the story just kind of get undermined. That's the problem with the
Yeah.
film. So
Yeah.
that's my little take on Top Gun. But yeah, your take on the film in retrospect.
For the original Top Gun, yeah, I mean, whatever. Again, it's the most 80s movie ever. It was 1986. Cold War was still pretty high. So, they had to fight Russians in MiGs because MiGs is the only thing Russians used to build, apparently. And yeah, it's just pure machismo and they make it work for what it is. And yeah, again, everybody's kind of make fun of it for being kind of homoerotic for what it is. But I remember just in having fun with it. It was kind of cool. And look, jet go zoom, good. That's it. So yeah.
Yeah, and last thing last before we get to Maverick, right? Last thing last, right? And you could say in a sense, because of who's involved as producers, the late great Don Simpson and Jerry
Right.
Bruckheimer.
Right.
If it wasn't for movies like this, for better or for worse, you wouldn't get Michael Bay.
Yeah, basically. It was right. It was very proto Michael Bay.
It's proto Michael Bay. Yeah.
Very proto Michael Bay. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah. But the why it holds up is just because of Tony Scott. Tony Scott is the man that just really pulls it together for what it is. But it's a movie I don't love. Again, I only watched it like twice. What I do remember about it is just that goddamn that NES game. That's what I remember talking about.
I really had to watch some gameplay footage of that. But I will crack up at that shit.
I remember it just being so difficult just to land on the fucking aircraft carrier. I was like, what the hell is this, Judd?
Wait, so that's the point of the game is about landing on carriers, or
it start like that, but then you had to fight later. But you start with that, and you had to get it fucking right, and it's so frustrating and annoying. Whatever.
Okay. Right. So cut to years later now, and now we have Maverick, right?
Right.
I remember the trailer dropping. I think it was last year, right?
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, right? And we were waiting for it to come out last year, right? It was last year,
Right.
and then it was like, well, cinemas closed, so no, right? You had to wait, right? So yeah, it was like, when are we gonna see this movie, right? And then we hear, okay, coming on Memorial Day weekend, of course, in the States. It's like, all right, cool, 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 right? But yeah, this was one that I was really intrigued by. I wasn't excited to see, but I was intrigued by, right? But it's the response to that really like had me interest, like, wow, like so much glowing reviews now, you know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah, took it in, yeah, 3 times recording here. So Ricardo, if you don't mind, just want to run through what Maverick is about.
Sure. So, Tim, yeah, I forget Maverick actual name, but
All right,
Maverick,
it is Pete Mitchell.
yeah, Pete Mitchell, right. Yeah, so Maverick is literally 30 years later, and 30 to 35 years later, and Mitchell's still flying, but he is a captain. He's still a captain. He's supposed to be admiral by now. It's a little ridiculous why he's the way he is. And they call him stick junkie effectively, right? That was what's his name? Ed Harris. Nice little
Yes,
moment
yes, yes.
in the beginning. So he
Well,
doing a
by the way,
test.
props for bringing Ed Harris into this movie. I mean,
Yeah,
the Rock, anyone?
yeah.
Which by the way was dedicated to Don Simpson. Think about
Right.
it. Yeah, go
Right.
on.
Yeah. And yeah, basically he just doing a test flight for this cutting edge, super fast vessel that going at Mach 9, wherever it is.
For Mach,
Uh,
yeah, they was aiming for Mach 10. Yeah.
Right, yeah, right. Capable of going to Mach 10, but the plan was to go Mach 9, but then if they don't go Mach 10, they could shut down the program. And he's like, all right, fuck it, I'm going Mach 10 this time. And even though he did test for it. And I thought this whole opening sequence was so great.
I know, right?
It looked fucking amazing. The jet looked great. It basically looked like, I don't know what the name of the jet is. Somebody will explain to me. Some, tech, wherever it is. But it basically looked like the SR-71 Blackbird, right?
Right,
AKA,
right.
AKA the X-Men jet. It looks like
The Blackbird, yeah.
Blackbird, right.
There's an exterior shot with Ed Harris and Ricardo, and you're seeing that jet flying over him.
Yes, Sean.
My God, that looked really, really good.
It looked damn good. And again, this is one of the rare cases where I regret not going IMAX, right? I saw this in CC8.
Me too. Yeah.
And I still went the big screen, but like, I probably should have go lower, in the front row to enjoy this more, because it just looked amazing. There's great visuals, cloud cover, and him flying through the clouds, and this how it cutting together and it editing. And is who directed this? McQuarrie?
Honestly? No. Well, McQuarrie was a producer, right? Christopher McQuarrie, right?
Sorry about that.
Y'all will know him as with his work with the previous, I think it's the 3 previous Mission Impossible films, right? The ones that really gained a lot of recognition, right? But this is Joseph Kosinski, right?
Right.
Last time he made a film that I still regard as a cult film, not a cult classic, Tron Legacy. Yes, I know the movie had problems. But I still regard that as a true cult film.
But this dude made a lot of great moments and shots. And then when he was trying to ape Tony Scott, even that was working. Like even some of that was working because it's clearly a homage to Scott, right?
Yes.
But when it's time for this guy to do his own thing, he really shined, because this man get them fucking jets looking real hard in this movie.
My God, you're right. Yes.
Fantastic editing, how it cutting together, how it moving, the sense of scale and distance and speed. And this opening sequence is so damn good. But anyway, so he went Mach 10, but he had to be stick jerky, and he ended up going faster than it should. He ended up barely surviving that crash because he basically jet explode because of heat. And he was supposed to get drum out from the Navy. Problem is that they say, all right, well, given the extreme, this very sensitive mission, they send him to Top Gun to teach. And now he has to go bring back a bunch of people who passed Top Gun back in the days, but they don't have big experience working together. And he have to just rally this team, including Miles Teller as the son of Goose, right, to do this really good, this big mission, to get them to work together on this mission. And that's basically the story. And I thought this movie was pretty goddamn awesome.
Agreed.
It works really well. It comes together going well. There's a flaw that brings down the movie, but it's up to you if you accept that or not. And the flaw brings down the movie for me. So I'll give it a surprisingly low score, but that's not because I didn't like it. Right? And I'll tell you what it is. I can tell you right now.
Yeah, please do.
It really was goddamn. It is super predictable. Like the script felt very dated. All the dialogue.
I have a counter statement to that, but
all the dialogue, plot, and character beats came straight out of 1986, and it was and I know that is by intention, But it
That's the
was,
thing. It is,
yeah, but
you
it was,
know,
but I was calling them beats. I was calling them beats beat for beat. I didn't get one wrong. I was like, yeah, that gonna happen. Yeah, that gonna happen. Yeah, that gonna happen. And none of it surprised me. But it was still good. It is still really well executed. And I know we live in the age of cliched and predictable but well executed. Look, it had Mandalorian, it had the new Star Trek Strange New World, sorry. And we live in that age where is people who try new things kind of fucking it up, and then people just kind of going back to what tried and true and that working. And yeah, it's basically the Air Force Awakens. Yeah, I know it's the Navy. Let me have the joke, right? But yeah, that's basically what it is. It's the Air Force Awakens. That's they make it work for it is. There's only one thing, even though I predicted and I knew they was going to do it, but it still was well executed and well done. The stuff with Iceman. All the stuff with Iceman was real damn good.
Yes.
Super emotional, right in the fields. Shout out to Tony Scott at the end, right in the fields. They make it work. But yeah, they really, really nailed it. Cinematography was great, especially with that stuff with all the high contrast silhouetted golden hour shots. Love it. They make it work. Action with just them jets moving about, especially when there's this one move that Maverick just doing, just flick the jet and flip himself above. And he did it twice to Rooster, well, Goose's kid.
Yeah.
And he did it twice.
Well, that on the subject of that though, that is a vast improvement over in the first film. Because they did in the first film, and when you look at it now, it looked like trash. But you know, imagine if it was like really, if you were living through the 80s, you're like, oh my god, that shit is amazing. I want to join the DAP.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, for what it is, it works. But they had all the little side characters. Everybody was good. Miles was pretty good. The boy from Insecure was in this. Like, hey, I
know, right? J. Ellis. I was like, you in this getting Paramount and Skydance money, bro. Do your thing. Do your thing.
Yeah, you do a little thing. They have the two girls, but the girls just being girls. They ready to do much with them. What's her name? Was the girlfriend? She was clearly,
Jennifer Connelly, yeah.
Right.
You know, for a hot minute, I thought it was Kelly McGillis's character.
Yeah.
But then I learned after the fact that no, they didn't want you to be in it because, well, the excuse is, we don't want to have too much of the older characters to be in it. I think the reason is because she's too old,
No, Kelly McGillis just give up acting. Like she quit. She quit Hollywood ages ago. I think she came out as a lesbian. It was like she done with all this bullshit. Like they're done. So
I think she was angered that they didn't reach out to her to even be in the film. I think so.
Okay, I did not know that. I didn't know. I thought she was just done with this and didn't want to be part of it. However, but yeah, Jennifer Connelly just fit. She clearly does fit the slot to be that same character. Whatever. But they make it work. It's charming enough as it is. Little side people was good in this. John Hamm was great. Loved him.
Yes.
He was really good in this. I forget the actor who was playing the black fellow. Who was the side guy?
He is. I think it's Bashir Salahuddin. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I thought he was good. Yeah.
I know I've seen him in films before, but I just
no. Sorry. I know you're talking about that. Is the first black fella. I'm talking about the second black fella. Wait, they had a good bit of black people in this, right?
Yeah.
No, the second black guy who was with John Hamm. Okay, was that guy named by?
Look at it now. Charles Parnell.
Right, he was good.
Yes, I thought he was in this.
He had his little moments, and what they do with him was good.
There's one moment I like where it's pretty much the authoritative one talking to Maverick, and it's like I think this is meant to be a rhetorical question.
Right, that was a great moment. Really funny moment. Yeah, that was a real funny moment. But yeah, they make it work for it. It's really well done, and again, I am a person who I need my script to catch me. It didn't catch me at all. I was just watching it beat for beat, but it was so well executed. It was so well executed I can't be mad. And then what they did with Iceman, I really liked. Again, I expected it, but still really well executed, especially him having to type, he can't talk. He going through this thing, and you could see Tom Cruise real, feeling it too now because that boy now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's all other man feels. They make it work. I rate it very high. 7 out of 10, but closer to 8. Right? It loses a lot of points because it being so predictable. Right? It was super predictable. It felt really dated. A lot of the dialogue felt dated. Character and plot felt dated. I forget the guy who was the other hotshot, the hangman character.
That is Glenn Powell. Glenn Powell, sorry. He plays hangman. Which is such a macho.
Yeah, well, he too cliche. But everything came straight out of 1986, but that's fine. But yeah, 7 out of 10, closer to 8. But I still really liked it because it was all spectacle and they really nailed it. But yeah, that's my reason. Go ahead.
Right. Okay. So as far as the script being predictable though, I like honestly, that wasn't in the back of my mind, to be honest. But when I think about it, it kind of is, right? I don't want to say that it's purposefully done that way, but I feel like it's just meant to be like it's harkening back clearly to
No, they,
to 80s
they
films. That's
play
what they're going for.
they play the beats. They play the beats.
Yeah,
It's called playing the beats. I'm making the joke Air Force Awakens, right? I know it's
yeah,
Navy, but let me have this dumb joke, right? But I think they're playing the beats. They know what to poke, when to time it. All the big surprises was like, yeah, they go and do this. And that
yeah,
one
yeah,
catch
yeah.
me. Yeah, yeah.
And
Especially,
you know when
especially
you
the
look
stuff,
back at films of of this nature, it's like, well, yeah, of course the
of
heroes
course.
must win, right? That's all you'll see,
Right.
you know.
And it had two moments in particular. I was like, all right, they gotta do this exactly. So when they did when Rooster save Maverick, like, yeah, no surprise. He go back to help him because yeah. And
Yeah.
then when they ended with Hangman, you're like, yep, they had to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But,
Although
yeah.
although there was one moment like prior to that scene with Rooster though,
Yeah.
where the man tears was coming
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I thought that they was gonna say, oh well, we're gonna actually do this shit. But it's
Right.
like, well, no, we could have,
Nah.
but nah,
Nah.
that's
They
not
ain't
what we're
doing
going
that.
for, man.
Because
It's Top
like,
Gun, bro.
let's be clear. This is a Tom Cruise vehicle. They ain't gonna do some shit like that. Period.
I know,
Period.
boy, I
Right. So they
know.
ain't doing
Like,
that.
but still,
They ain't killing Maverick. They're not killing Maverick. They're not subversive. They're just telling me the story as it is. We gain what we gain.
Yeah, but they had been going. They had been like, oh my god, they're
There's
really
one.
gonna do
All
it?
right, so
Oh shit!
yeah, so I'll say by far the best scene in the movie for me. This is the only thing that was closest thing to kind of catching me, which is when Maverick do the mission and show that he could do the mission. That was fucking hard.
Badass.
That was real hard.
It is that time based thing,
Yeah,
and
boy,
how he
yeah.
pull it off though
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
wow,
And he do it by himself, eh?
Yeah,
And he do it by himself, eh? Like,
yeah.
real hard.
And lastly, well, we'll talk. I'll talk a little bit more about Tom Cruise though. But honestly, I laughed when it was like, all right, but of course they have to show him running. When I see that, I was like, run, Tom Cruise, run.
Yeah, you
know
run.
You have to.
You gotta run.
And it's so funny because, a few days ago, we got the first trailer for that upcoming Mission Impossible film. I was like, yeah, running into theaters, right? That's the upcoming Facebook. You have to run. And you do it.
Run. Yeah.
but yes, I can understand some people going into this and thinking, yeah, it's cliche and by the numbers, blah, 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 right? But again, it's a sequel to Top Gun, so, it is what it is, right? But that being said, I thought that it was well written. It was well written. You could really feel the heart in it. A lot of heart.
It's a solid script, eh? It's not like it's some shit script and it's a mess.
No. But again, you're
very
right.
competent.
You do know what's going to happen.
But you know what's gonna happen. And look, it's an exercise in Tom Cruise's career. The man have a long running career now. The man, 40 years he acting now? Or
yeah, boy, the man like clocking 60, I think, boy. Yeah.
Clocking 60, still running, but it's like, look.
Still running, eh?
Yeah, but look, Bobby with that tool.
Yeah, Bobby with that tool.
Bobby with that tool, he bring it back. Bobby with that tool, he bring it back, man. But I personally really thought it was great. Again, super cliched, which pull it down a little bit for me. But really well done. And that's my last point.
Yeah. And also what I appreciate this compared to the last film now is how it balances the tones, right? So like how I said, before it wasn't enough action for me. It was more about the machismo stuff, more felt like a drama mixed with romance, and then like, oh yeah, we have to have action. We have to have some action. Here, they blended very well though. Like I know for some people they might kind of roll their eyes at the whole Pete and Penelope. That's Jennifer Connelly's character, by the way, right? The whole romance thing. But I think it works in the sense of,
it's fine.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in a long while. Hey, you have a kid, and I'm here by myself. But
we got to do this.
That kind of thing. I kind of like that,
But how this movie feels, it feels like a part 4 to like a trilogy we never see. Because like all this.
Oh, right. Because a lot of things happen to him, and you feel like, yeah. You're right.
Exactly.
Right.
So they make it work for it was.
Yeah. I didn't mind the romance at all, though it didn't feel as forced as the last film, to be honest.
Right.
Also, just to touch on music quickly, right? There's a Lady Gaga song, right? That's associated with the film, right? Now, called Hold My Hand, right? Now, that is the Take My Breath Away, right? Now, just to get us off of the way, no, it's not Take My Breath Away, right? But I do really appreciate it. It's a good song, right? And I thought that the video was solid too, right?
Right.
Although I just love how it kind of takes us back to those 80s and 90s promotional music videos where
it's a while we have done that.
A lot of footage on the film,
which is so dated on its own. But I miss that. I miss that.
Yeah. And it works, right? But
Right.
here, similar to the first film, they use some of the cues from that song, right, during those
Right.
those moments, and it works. I mean, it's nice, right? But I
Yeah.
just love that it's a single mom here. You know what I mean? So it's like older characters. It's like, yeah, we had a thing, so maybe we might have it. So I like how they play with that, right? You kind
Yeah.
of know where it ends, though, but it
Because
makes sense. It makes sense.
that whole thing where he had to sneak out and it's like, okay, they gotta do the thing where he gonna think he get away and then the little girl gonna
Yeah, the
catch him.
guild, yeah.
Beat for beat.
Although they all
Yeah.
just laugh at that, time, I was like,
And I
yeah,
laugh,
that
I
was gonna
listen,
happen.
I laughed at it. I laughed at it but I predicted it. I mean, go on.
Yeah,
But I laughed at it. It was a fun moment. It's
it
good.
was. It
As I
was. It
say,
was.
this is one of those we could use a little old fashioned, and we got some old fashioned, and it was there. They make
That's
it
right.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What else? Well, just continue with music for a bit, right? I didn't know Hans Zimmer was involved with this too.
Okay.
And
Right.
Lord Murphy was involved with this too, right?
Right.
But they do something very, very, very just freaking amazing in my opinion, right? So in the opening, right, which is as faithful a remake of the intro to Top Gun as humanly
Right.
possible, right?
Right. Yeah.
Even using Kenny Loggins, Danger
Right.
Zone, right?
Yeah.
Slight spoiler, while the sequence is going on, they actually fade out at a particular moment, right? And that's the last time that you hear that song. Now, in
Right.
my mind, I was telling myself, okay, they can play it again because in the original film they play it 3 times, right? That's the first and last time that you hear it in this film, right? But
Right.
what they did in terms of the music during the moments that involve, okay, this is the plan, we have to do this thing, blah 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 blah. You hear bits of that music. You hear that
Right.
dun, dun,
Right.
dun, 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 but you hear it mixed with the classical music. And I was
Right.
like, yes, I
Yeah.
fucks with this. That is brilliant. So it's always lingering there now, but it's like it's not just there to kind of pump you, but it's just like, yeah, we know it's Top Gun and we know, but we added we own we gotta raise we just gotta raise the bar just a little bit. I just love how they did that because
Right.
they could have just done the cliche thing and just have our heroes fly out and then you hear danger zone. Like in my
Right.
mind, I was like, all right, in the two that's gonna happen. Nope, they didn't do that. You just hear that intense music and you hear the highway to the danger zone music
Right.
mixed into there. I love what they did there, right? And of course you hear the Top Gun team. You know what it is.
Right.
If you saw the film, you know what it
Right.
is, right? And it still works, especially near the end where the heroes team up and then, it's very reminiscent of the first film, right? Love that, right? Yeah. But who carries it on his shoulders, basically, of course, is
Yeah.
Tom Cruise, boy.
Yeah. Bobby
That
with
man,
that
yeah,
tool.
Bobby with that tool, he shines through though.
Yeah.
His character, where he's acted life makes a lot of sense.
I like what they did with him, with the whole thing with him and Rooster.
Yes,
they could have
yes.
the characters again is a script I would have write, but basically they had him where yes, he's guilty about Rooster, but I remember that he kind of got over that in the first film. Remember he threw the dog tags now. So
yeah, but that was at the end of the film though. Like
right,
like,
exactly.
Like
But
last couple minutes in the end of the film.
the point is he got over the guilt about it. So it had nothing to do with that per se, but it's more to do. Well, they explained it off camera where Meg Ryan's character didn't want to do it, so he do it for Meg Ryan's character.
Yes.
Yeah, which is a kind of a little bit of a cop out, but whatever. And the reason why Rooster is angry with him is not because of the father, but because of what he did in flight school now. Stuff like that, right? So it's little things like that. It's like, all right, it's again solid script.
Exactly, and very, very, very well thought out, right? But I mean, Tom Cruise, he just owns it though. Whether he's on a bike, whether he's on a jet, you know what I mean? He just sells it, right? Whether he's running, right? He sells it, right? Miles Teller, I thought that he was great as
very
Rooster,
good,
right? I.e., the son of Goose, right? And I just love that dynamic between the two of them. The anger he felt and how that eventually dissipates, right? The more that he, he and Pete work together, right? There's the supporting cast as well too, right? Whether it's John Hamm or Glenn Powell or even G. Ellis, right? If I have one Greg though, but again, because I'm not too invested in the first film, it didn't really take me out of the film. I felt we could have gotten a little bit more of the team itself, the team that he's cultivating, basically. Although to be fair, well, I mean, you get a few character building moments, team building moments. Like instead of volleyball, we get beach football, which catch me by surprise too. I was like, wait, you're doing this? Like what? Okay, and it worked, right? And it I like how it kind of downplays on the whole homoeroticism. Eroticism, basically, that's kind of wrongfully associated with the first film, right? To be honest, right? But yeah, so along with that, right? But who else shines as well too is Joseph Kosinski. Boy,
Yeah,
my God, he
great
directed the
great direction, man.
shit out of
Yeah,
this boy. Like you, Ricardo, I wish I saw this in IMAX. Boy, there's
yeah,
so much great white shots in this though. The
yeah,
aerial shots, the dog fight, so great though. And then it's
yeah.
even better when you find out it's not no green screen. These
Yep,
motherfuckers were in
yep.
actual jets and they were doing
They're
these things,
Jets.
and it's just so goddamn amazing. That third act though, when they actually pull off the mission compared to the last film, that had me on the edge of my seat though. Like literally, that had me on the edge of my seat. But I was just so on board
Yeah,
with everything that was going. And that's why I see that one moment, I almost got the man tears, but I was like, nope, you know what I mean? So I love that. This and for me, like you got more out of that though. It really felt like a legit mission as opposed to, oh, we have like a little 20 minutes to kill. Let me just have a little dog fight and see
nah, yeah,
mix
yeah.
a lot.
It didn't
Like
feel like an
that was the
afterthought.
first film. Yeah,
It
yeah.
didn't. Yeah, it didn't feel like an afterthought. It was the locus of the script. As I said,
Exactly. Yeah.
it feels like a script I would have written. That's it.
Yeah.
That's why I give it a low score.
Right.
You know?
And lastly, what really stood out to me the most though, Val Kilmer, because like when I saw his
Yes.
name in the credits, I like,
Yeah.
wait, really? Because
Yeah.
in
They
my
did
head, I
it.
went to this movie like, all right, he's not gonna be in the show because of his
Right.
physical condition, right? But he was in, and they make it work,
Yeah.
Jen.
Yeah.
Now, admittedly, what they do with him afterwards was like real cliche. But
That was it.
I understand as far as the motivation of Pete, aka
Right.
Maverick, it worked, right? Although and you have a nice white shirt though, by the way, right? But when it happens, I was like, all right, oh gosh, man, you could have just let
No,
him stay. You could have let him
it's when the
stay.
fella come. Yeah, it's when the fella come up and say Maverick, and you say Maverick, and then they just cut to that shot. Like,
Yeah,
wow,
boy. I
yeah.
was like, all right, we doing this,
But I
but
know they would have do that. Like even that, I know they would have do, but it's still good. It's still pretty good.
yeah. But
Yeah,
but the mere fact that they had Val in it, though, boy,
yeah,
that's a round of applause, right?
yeah,
And then also to just before I get to Return, dedicated it to Tony Scott, man. You know what I
yeah,
mean? At
boy.
the end,
Yeah, man.
that one, I was like, I feel that,
Yeah,
right? So yes, in closing, I really enjoyed this boy way more than I expected. This is one of the best films I've seen this year. This is one of the best films to drop this year, in my opinion. Once you go in knowing that yes, it is an 80s throwback, but in the right way. Even though you might pick apart the script and be like, yeah, no, this is gonna happen, blah 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 blah, right? But it's that's how it's designed to be, right? It's supposed to hit you in the feels and it's supposed to excite you and thrill you, and you get that in spades with this movie here. So rating wise, I'm gonna go with a strong 4 to like 4.5 out of 5, man. I had a blast watching this. I really should rewatch. I really should have watched this in IMAX. I really wouldn't mind rewatching this, to be honest, right? But
right.
yeah, I need to go to a bigger screen to experience this again. But and I was just say this in closing, yeah, this is a movie that you have to see on as big a screen as possible. Forget laptop screens. If you have a
Yeah,
big monitor,
yeah.
fine.
You have to
But
go out
nah,
and see
you
this.
have
Yeah,
to
you have to
go
go out
out
and
and
see
see
this.
this,
Yeah,
right? That's what
yeah,
it's designed for. And last thing now, I couldn't help while watching this now be like, okay, that's why people really enjoyed this so much in the 80s though, because they saw it in cinema.
yeah. It's a
I
theater.
saw
See,
it in
exactly.
a small TV screen, so I
Yep.
couldn't really appreciate it. But seeing this movie here in Maverick on a big screen, I was like, okay, that's why people love Top Gun. Because yeah, if there's one thing people remember about Top Gun is those dogfights, right? And
Yep.
seeing it on a big screen in this film here, I was like, all right, now I see why that movie stand out so much. And this one in particular is gonna stand as well too. Yeah? So yeah,
Right.
definitely check out Maverick, man.